Hi, everybody. Al Smith here.
Hello.
Welcome to another lesson on defense. For the last several lessons, we've addressed what the opening lead should be against no trump contracts. Today, we're going to start a couple of lessons in relationship to what you should lead against suit contracts. And today, what we're going to do is focus on when to lead trump. Okay, so let's go ahead and see if we can get into this. Okay, in terms of the declare, the declare has two main strategies for making the contract. The first one is roughing losers in the short trump suit hand. Now, by the short trump suit hand, we'll assume the declare has 5 and the dummy has 3. The declare extends the power of the trump suit by roughing tricks in the hand that has 3. That way, if they take 5 in their hand and rough 3 in the dummy, they get 8 trump tricks. So what we want to do in terms of defense is minimize their capability to do this. This typically is going to happen in distributional hands. And it's especially prevalent in hands where the trump are distributed 4-4 between the declare and dummy, or 5-3. Okay, we can see pretty easily that we can lead trump in these particular situations. We can really cut into very quickly their ability to take roughing tricks. The second area is discarding losers on winners. And we see this all the time in terms of our declare play and in terms of defending, is that the opponents have a second suit, whether it's a double fit or one of the players, the declare or the dummy, or both have strong second suits. In those situations, the goal of the declare is going to be to get the trump out and then to run those suits. So you can see there's two very different strategies that we're going to have to be able to adapt to in determining these two different types of situations and when we lead trump and when we don't. Okay, let's take a quick look at the best strategies that we can use against trump suit contracts. And I'm just going to kind of discuss these in a general order. The first one is taking your tricks. Okay, so if you've got tricks off the top, it makes sense in most situations to take those. The second is setting up tricks. For example, you've got the king queen in the suit or the king queen jack. It makes a lot of sense to lead that king in order to set up those other tricks in that suit. The third is minimizing the opponent's or the declare's capability to rough. Okay, that's really the most powerful weapon the declare has in a suit contract is to rough tricks. Okay, and the fourth is from the defensive strategy is actually setting up roughing tricks for yourself. This is a little bit harder to do. It doesn't happen a whole bunch of times, but it happens enough that it becomes one of the major strategies against suit contracts. And the fifth tier is what I call a passive lead, and I call that hiding in the weeds. Okay, and we'll have a lot of examples of this in this lesson and also in the hands that we play. And if you've got the majority of the points, you don't want to finesse yourself. So in those cases, you're going to want to make a passive lead. And many times, the best passive lead you can make is leading trump. Okay, let's take a look at some questions that you should ask yourself while you're sitting there cogitating over what in the heck you should lead. Okay, so in terms of the information sets you're going to review, one of the most important components is the opener's bid. And the question you're going to ask yourself is, do they have a fit? Now, we can see that fairly quickly. We determine that fairly quickly if if the declarer opened the suit and his partner raised it. They have a fit. However, we have other situations where they don't seem to be having a fit, and we're going to have a misfit. Okay? So being able to determine the difference of these from the bidding is an important characteristic or important capability you need to develop. Okay, then the next question you should ask yourself is, what is the fit? Is it 4-4? Is it 5-3? Is it 6-2? Or is it something even totally different? You know, I mean, in a lot of cases, if a partner opens one heart and their partner jumps to 4 hearts, you know that they have at least a 5-5 fit. So, you know, determining what you think that fit is an important piece of information that you want to develop. The next one is, did they bid confidently or did they bid timidly? You know, if they snuck up on getting to a contract of 4 hearts, you know that they've got problems or they have concerns about their ability to make the contract. If they boldly went forward, you know, like on Star Trek, you bid 4 hearts confidently, you know they've probably got a pretty good heart suit and they're not too worried about it. So that's another characteristic. Did they avoid no trump? If they avoided no trump, why did they avoid no trump? Do they have a weak suit? All right, so those are the things that you need to pay attention to in relationship to the opponent's bid. Okay, what does partner have? Okay, did your partner open? Did your partner overcall? If so, what suit did they open in? If it was a major, they'd probably have 5 plus cards in that suit. And if they overcalled, 95, 98% of the time, they're going to have at least 5 cards in that suit. So you want to take note of that and put that information in your memory bank. Did they do a negative double? Did they make or not make a lead directing double of an artificial bid? These are all little pieces of information that you want to collect. All right, now you've looked at the opponents, you've looked at your partner, you've processed that information, and of course you're going to look at your own hand. Do you have a really good suit? An ace, king, queen, an ace, king. Do you have a strong suit to develop? Okay, because these are going to be the things that you're going to use in making the decision on what suit to lead. Okay, what do they have in trumps? Okay, so what do you have in trumps? Okay, so if you've got 3 or 4 trumps, gives you a lot of information about how many do they have. Then do you have a singleton or do you have a long weak suit implying your partner has shortness? Okay, and these establish some basic information about the hands and whether you want to lead trump or not. For example, you know, if you've got a singleton, you may want to lead that singleton if you believe you have the capability to win a trump that suit later on. And that has a lot to do whether you can control the trump suit or not, or your partner can control the trump suit. The same is true of leading a long, weak suit. So here's just some things to think about. All right, now let's look at this in the context of the priority of the leads, of your leads. Okay, now we talked about this in earlier lessons, but if you've got a temporizing lead, you've got the ace, king in a suit, and you know that they can't develop that suit, always do a temporizing lead. That way it gives you the capability of looking at the dummy and actually seeing what the dummy has and collecting a lot more information. You also get to collect information from your partner in terms of the attitude signal they give you back and also from what the declarer played. Did your partner tell you to lead the suit? Okay, I don't want to minimize this or tell you to ignore it. If your partner gave you a lead directing double, unless you've got something better to lead, you should lead it. All right, now the third thing, you see, this really moved up in priority in relationship to, because there aren't any trumps and no trump, but it really comes at pretty high priority. It's really one of the first things you want to consider in terms against the suit contract is the lead trumps. Okay, it's very early in the decision tree because since roughing is such a powerful tool for the declarer, you want to really consider whether you should lead trump to minimize or cut down on their roughing ability. The next is the attacking lead to establish tricks in the suit. And then fifth is lead directing. You tell your partner you want led back. Now, there's some situations where that comes in play, especially if you preempted and you didn't make a power lead. All right, the last one here is passive. Now, while these all, I've got these in a suggested order, okay, you have to consider that order in the context of what's occurred. And it may become obvious from the bidding in which you have in your hand that it's number six. You want to make a passive lead. Okay, you want to do no harm to yourself or your partner. All right, now let's get into the meat of today's lesson and talk about when to lead trumps. Okay, we're going to go through a number of areas here. Okay, really one of the biggest, one of the times that you really want to consider to lead trump is if you think the declare has only 4 trumps. Okay, if they've got only 4 trumps, and a lot of times you can tell this. Let's take when we've got a 4-4 statement bid. Okay, the opponent opens 1 no trump, the partner goes 2 clubs, and the opener bids 2 hearts, and the responder jumps to 4 hearts. Well, guess what? We know that they have a 4-4 heart bid. Almost 95% positive they have a 4-4 heart bid. All right. Now, if they're choosing to play in hearts over no trump, you must assume that they have some type of distributional quality in regards to the declare and the dummy hand. So it makes total sense to consider leading trump because they're planning on using that cross ruff to control the suits and to make the contract. The same is true from the standpoint of a negative double. Okay, and in terms of and this can occur both in terms of the opener and the responder. In this example here, we have the opener bidding 1 diamond, the overcaller making a negative double, and then the advancer bidding 1 heart, and everybody passing out. Now, this is kind of what I describe as an exception hand in relationship to take out doubles. In essence, what this implies is that the negative doubler probably has 3 to 4 hearts, and that the advancer has 4. Now, because the doubler didn't raise, he probably only has 3. If you're playing against me, this might happen quite a bit. So if they have the shape of 3-4, they've got 7 hearts and you've got 6. So you don't want to let them maximize the use of their trump in terms of the cross ruff. Now, another one that really comes up, and it's maybe 1 or 2 people on this lesson where we've talked about this before, is what I would call balancing bids. All right, and in this particular example, okay, we have 1 club by the opener and then 1 heart by the responder. And then the opener bids 1 no trump. So given that and pass, given that second pass by the responder here, we know that the points are fairly evenly distributed between the two opposing pairs. Okay, and the person in the balancing seat jumps in and bids 2 spades. Well, why did he do that? Well, he knows that the responder here that bid 1 heart would have bid 1 spade with 4 spades with more spades than hearts. So, odds are they have an equal number. They also know that it would have been 1 spade if they had more spades than hearts. So at best, they have an equal number. Okay, now, and then we know from the opener, the 1 no trump opener did not bid 1 spade. So we know he or she does not have 4 spades. Okay, so this really sneaky person over here in the balancing seat bids 2 spades. Odds are that the odds are that I forgot to turn my phone on, that the person in the balancing seat has only 4 spades. How many spades does his partner have? Probably 2, 3, and 4. It's really hard to tell. But what that balancing person is counting on is that you're not going to lead trump. Okay. Now, another area is where the dummy prefers to declare second bid suit. They've got no fit in the first suit, and they have some modicum of a fit in the second suit. So we've got an example here is where the opener bids a spade, and then the partner bids one no trump, and then the opener bids 2 hearts. So we know the opener's got 5 spades and 4 to 5 hearts. Okay, more than likely it's 5 spades and 4 hearts. And if when the partner passes, they know they probably have a 4-4 fit with less than or equal to 2 spades in the original suit bid by the opener, or maybe it's as bad as 4-3 with less than or equal to 1 spade. So you can see that they've chosen the second suit, and that the responder, by passing and selecting that second suit, is hoping to get some cross roughs in. And here's another example here where it's basically the same situation where they did 1 spade, they're playing 2 of a 1, so 1 no trump, forcing or semi-forcing. They bid 2 clubs, and now the responder passes. Now you know that the opener, the responder, probably has only 0 or 1 spade. So you know for a fact they're going to try to do cross-roughs. Let's look at an example down here. Now, you're over here, you're north. The bidding has been 1 spade, pass, and then east, the responder bids 1 no trump. And the opener comes back and bids 2 hearts and goes pass, pass, pass. So what do we know about the opener? They have 5 spades and probably 4 to 5 hearts. What we know about east? Well, east has got probably 0 or 1 spade. Now, as you look at your hand, you say, well, I got some spade winners, even though that's not trump, because you're sitting behind the opener. So you've got a pretty nice hand here. The opener probably is never going to get more than 1 spade trick if they've got the ace, because you've got the king probably behind the king and the jack behind the 10. All right, now you've got 3 hearts. Can you go, well, they probably have a 4-4 or a 4-3 fit. Maybe it's a 5-4. But in that case, you can count, if it's 4-4, you can count 11 cards in that suit. Okay, and then you've got the king of diamonds +2 and some more honors and clubs and so forth. So you've got a pretty nice hand. Now, if you leave anything but hearts in this particular situation, you're only hurting yourself. And you go, well, what if I finesse my partner? Well, what if you finesse your partner? It's nothing that the opponents weren't planning on doing to your partner anyways. So you're just accelerating that. Now, if your partner actually has a trump trick, your partner's still going to get it. Okay, and in many cases, by leading trump, they're going to have to guess as to what you really have. So what you're going to do is lead trump in this particular example to minimize east's capability to ruff. Now, notice I'm saying east, okay, because we know that's the suit that's got shortness in spades and may not have more than 3 or 4 hearts. Okay, and every time we get in, we're going to keep leading trump because we really want to hurt them. And every time we lead trumps, we're taking 2 of them, theirs, that potentially could be used as roughs to take tricks. All right, let's look at the second area. Okay, in this one, your partner passes your 1 level takeout double, converting it into a penalty double. And yes, this does occur. And there was a nice little convention to help you figure out when to do that. Okay, so let's look at the example here. West opens one heart, and you're sitting over here and you go, well, I've got this nice hand. It's not great, but I've got 4. I've got 7, 9, 10. Yeah, it's a little flaky in terms of the takeout double. I probably should give it another couple of points. But this guy's really aggressive, and he goes double. Okay, and it goes pass and south. The overcaller's partner passes. Well, what does that say? Well, let's look at an inventory of your hand. You've got spade moves, you've got good clubs, diamonds, and clubs, and your partner probably has 5+ hearts. That meets Mel's rule of 9. I'm not going to explain what Mel's rule of 9 is because that's another lesson for another day, but that's the way that South is supposed to determine whether to convert a negative double or a takeout double into a penalty double when they're sitting in front of the bidder of the suit. Mel's rule of 9 is only applied when the person is sitting in front of the suit bidder. All right, so what we're going to do here is we want to lead trumps. Now, I'm going to kind of introduce another topic to you right now, and we're going to talk about this more in a later lesson, but you're going to lead to 5. Why lead to 5? Why don't you lead to 3? Well, the card you lead is a suit preference signal. Okay, and we will talk about that quite a bit more in the later lessons. We have a whole lesson on it. But what that says is you're going to play the 5, and on the second play of the heart, you're going to play the 3. And your partner, because they're paying really good attention, says, aha, my partner led the 5 and then played the 3. Ergo, they want me to return a higher ranking suit. And they go, well, gee, what's the higher ranking suit? And look down at the hand and say, well, that's spades. Okay, yeah, wouldn't you want your partner to lead spades to you? I would. All right, now let's take another look at the next category, and that's where you've got 3 or 4 small trumps. Now, let's define our terms in terms of small, okay? And small really means anything that's less than or equal to about 10, okay? Because you know that you probably don't have any real trick-taking ability in that particular suit. All right, now, let's assume that your right-hand opponent opened 1 heart and your left-hand opponent bid 2 hearts, and that you've got 3 trumps. How many trumps can your partner have at most? The answer is 2, because you say they've got 5+ for the right-hand opponent, and my left-hand opponent's got 3+, and I've got 3. That adds up to 11, and 11 from 13 is 2. Now, either one of those have more trumps. That means your partner's got less. So your partner doesn't have much in the trump suit. And the probability that you're going to finesse your partner by leading trumps is very low. And if they've only got 0 to 1, the probability they're going to get finessed anyways by the declare, or whatever they've got is going to drop. For example, got the Singleton Queen. What good is the Singleton Queen? Because the first time that the trumps get led of the opponents, that queen is going to come out and they're going to take the queen. Now, there are situations where that queen might actually win a trick, but it's generally not going to be in this situation. Okay, so let's take a look at this example here. Okay, West opened the heart again. You're north and you passed, and the opponent, the right-handed, left-handed opponent did 2 hearts. Okay, you got 4 hearts. All right, now what? Okay, you know that your partner probably has 1 heart. Okay, and the only way that their partner is going to take a heart trick is if that heart is the ace. So you look at your hand and go, well, you know, I would really like to develop the spades, but breaking that suit is going to cost you a half a trick and may even cost you more. So you go, well, my hearts are only going to have value I possibly can get a roughing. You can rough a trick. You have a possibility of roughing a diamond. However, what's going to happen is you're going to want to lead trump. All right. And you're going to want to lead trump because you want to cut into the roughing capability of the opponents. Okay. And it's very possible that even by leading trumps, it doesn't hurt your ability at all to get a roughing trick on diamonds. So which heart are you going to lead? Okay. You're going to lead the 8. You go, why the 8? Well, the 8 is the beginning of the suit preference signal of an echo where you lead the 8 and then you play the 3. That way your partner knows that you want a spade back. So you can see that we've got the echo example up here of high, low, high, low. Now you're not always going to have the capability of doing the echo, and you can have an echo that's low and then high. Okay, low then high, then points to a lower ranking suit. So, and then sometimes to actually figure out what suit your partner wants, the opening leader wants back, you have to really look at your hand and look at the number. All right, 4th area, your partner and you have the most points, but they win the bid. All right. You know then that the opponents are counting on a cross rub. Let's look at this situation. Your partner opens 1 no trump. He's got 15 to 70. You look at your hand, you've got 3, 6, 8, 9, 10. You know you've got 25 points. Okay. And West overcalls no trump with 2 hearts, saying, hey, I got long hearts. And you go 3 no trump because you just got the points for it. We're going to assume that your partner has a blocker in heart, but East jumps to 4 hearts. What do we know? We know they don't have crap in spades, diamonds, or clubs, but they probably have anywhere between 9 and 11, not probably 9 hearts between. And that they're planning, they have a distributional hand, and they're planning on roughing or cross rough to get to make their contracts or to minimize the number of tricks they go down in terms of their sacrifice. So the first thing we want to do, I mean, this is like getting hit in the head with a frying pan that says lead a heart. So you're going to lead the 5, and then you're going to do your echo so it points to the spade. Let's look at the next situation. We've got dummy makes a single raise, and you have honors in the other suits. And what this really is trying to point out is you're going to want to make a passive lead. Okay, because it was 1 heart past 2 hearts. Now, is there a high probability you're going to set this contract? No. But you don't want to let them get extra tricks. In duplicate, that's the difference between life and death. So you know that you've got some spades, you know you've got an honor in diamonds and clubs, and you don't want to lead even any of those suits because you're going to be finessing yourself. So how do you hurt them the most? You lead a heart. Okay. And what we're going to do is, again, we're going to lead the 5, and then we're going to play the 2. We're going to, why not the 9? Well, the 9 may have potential value in making the declare play a higher card, or accidentally in some strange situation give you the capability to overruff something in declare's hand. So these are just some basic little concepts. All right. Now, we've talked about the various conditions and scenarios where you want to lead trump. Now, let's talk very briefly about what trump card you want to lead. Okay, so we're talking about, hey, we've decided on we want to lead trumps. Now we want to decide on which card to lead. All right. So, and we're going to assume that declare is in a major, and we've got these different situations, and if dummy raises declares minor suit open. Okay, what we know now is we can determine who has the longer and stronger trumps. If the declare opens a major, we know they got 5. If their partner raises it, we're going to assume they got 3 or more. If the declare opens a minor, and then the responder raises that suit or bids that suit, we're going to assume they have at least 4 or 5, probably 5. Okay, now, there are certain situations where we won't have any idea. We're just going to have to try to ferret that out or make the assumption of which one we think has the longest trump. All right, now, what you lead is going to be dependent on the number of trumps you have. For example, if you have 1 trump and you want to lead trump, the answer is pretty obvious as to which trump you're going to lead. You're going to lead the one that you've got. Okay, if you got 2, okay, if you're going to lead the highest if you want to try to promote something in your partner's suit. Let's assume that you have the Jack 5. Most people will not lead that Jack. Okay, but what value does that Jack have? Little to none as it regards to your hand, but has a lot of value if your partner accidentally has the Queen 10X. Okay, because you would then be proactively promoting the values in their hand. So if you have something like the Jack 5 and you decide that trump is the best to lead, even the Queen 5, lead the honor, because you're probably going to get finessed anyway, so that honor is going to get dropped. Okay, you're not hurting yourself or your partner. You're potentially helping your partner. Okay, if you've got 3, you can now lead the middle one and still have the capability of giving your partner a signal of what suit you would like to lead back, and at the same time to confuse the declare. I love trying to confuse the declare. It's really great when you can use these techniques to mess with the declare's mind. Okay, and this way you can hope to promote a trick for your partner. For example, if you have the Queen XX and partner has a Jack Singleton, if you leave that middle card, it really confuses the declare, because 1, they wouldn't expect you to lead with the Queen. But if you've decided that trump is by far the best lead and it's going to cause the greatest damage to the declare, you're going to want to lead it. So you lead the second highest, and yeah, I guarantee that will confuse the declare. And now, if accidentally your partner has the Jack, they can play it and help you promote that Queen. Okay, if dummy has a strong trump suit, has the strong trump suit, where they raised a minor suit. If you've got these types of values, I wonder why it says preemptive. You want to consider yes, I know, a preemptive self finesse. And by that I mean, this becomes especially valuable in later in the hand, but it can also apply to the open lead. Let's say that you've got the King X, just the King and the 3. Right? If you're convinced that the dummy has the stronger trump suit, for example, they open 1 club, pass 3 clubs or 2 clubs, and then they end up in clubs, dummy is going to have the stronger club suit. So ultimately, that the declarer, who's going to be on your right, is going to try to finesse you for the King. So if you've got the King X, you can really confuse them by going ahead and leading the lower card. When let's say you've got the King 3, you lead the 3. Now they really have to think about it. What type of crazy person is going to lead away from their King? Well, a good crazy person in the right situation where the information indicates that's the killer lead. All right. Now we've this finishes the basic portion of the or the lecture portion of the lesson. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to pause record. Hi guys, now we're going to go to the Shark Bridge section. Let me go ahead and get that up. All right, here we go. This is the Shark Bridge session. Let's make sure that we get load the deals up. Preset auctions. There we go. And get the teachers table up there. Okay, let's talk about this first hand. Let's take a look at things in relationship to what's on your screen here. Is we're sitting south, and this is our hand. We have a pretty nice hand here. However, the bidding of the dealer was east, and they opened one diamond. We passed. We really didn't have too much we wanted to say at that particular point in time. We got 4, 7, 10 points. And then west bid one heart, and east bid one spade, and then west proceeded to jump to 4 spades. So what do we know? We know that east has got an open hand and probably 4 spades because they bid and they denied having 4 hearts. So after that, it was one diamond. Partner bid one heart, saying they had at least four hearts. Then opener said, I've got 4 spades. And then west jumped to 4 spades. So what do we know? We know that between them, they probably have a minimum of a 4-4 bid in spades. More than likely, it's 4-4 because east would have opened 1 spade if they had 5, and west would have bid 1 spade instead of 1 heart if they had 5 spades. So we know that they probably have a 4-4 bid. Now, when we look at our hand, we've got the king of diamonds, the queen jack of clubs, the ace of hearts, which are pretty good values in this other 3 suits. And we've got 3 low spades. Okay, if they're 4-4, that means our partner has only 2 spades. So the best strategy with this particular hand, because of where the points are and what the bidding has been, is that we want to lead spades to minimize their roughing ability. So on this particular hand, what we're going to do is we're going to lead the 2 of spades, and the card comes down. And what we're going to do is I'm going to show you our partner's hand. All right, and now let's go. Let's let the play progress. And just for the heck of it, I'm going to let you see all 4 hands. Okay, so that we can get a better idea of what the declare strategy is. All right, so we led the 2 of spades. The declare goes, well, okay, no big deal. I've got solid spades between in the declare's hand, solid spades. In the responder's hand, they look at the hand and say, well, I've got the king, queen, jack of hearts. I can develop 2 tricks in hearts. I can probably develop some tricks in diamonds, and my weakest suit is clubs, so I'm going to try to stay away from those. So he says, well, let's go ahead. And he goes, well, where do I want to end up? He says, well, I think I want to end up I want to lead the trump, draw the trump, and I want to end up in the dummy's hand. So he plays the 5 of spades, and our partner goes, well, okay. He wants to signal us to indicate that he wants a club. So he's going to give us a suit preference signal. A trump suit preference signal, which we're going to discuss at some later date. Okay, and they take the ace and say, okay, let's go ahead and lead out. I picked the wrong one. Let's lead the king because we want to end up back. And he says, okay, there's one more out. I'm going to lead that. Okay, we've drawn all the trumps, and he says, okay, now I'm going to try to work on those diamonds. So I'm going to lead that. I'm going to lead that jack of diamonds. Did I? Okay, I didn't leave. Okay, so I ended up in the wrong place. I didn't want to do, oh, well, I have to play a card over here. So our partner goes, okay, I got the 9 of clubs. It indicates that he wants to have clubs. So they start leading diamonds to see if they can develop the diamonds. He takes finesse, and we jump on that. And our partner has given us a positive signal in clubs, so we lead the queen. So the queen comes out, there's the king, we cover it with the ace, and declare, and our partner says, okay, we're going to continue with those clubs. I've got and we're going to let them take that trick. Okay, and our partner now goes, well, let's continue with another club and see what we can do. Okay, now what this does is actually force the declare to rough. So we let the declare rough. All right, and now the declare says, well, I've got the ace, queen of diamonds. I can try to take those and see if there's a 4-4 split. I can try to develop the hearts. And actually, the best thing to do at this particular point in time, from the standpoint of the declare, is go ahead and try to develop those hearts. So he's going to lead the low heart, and we're going to end up taking the ace because we really don't have too much choice. We don't want them to throw anything away. And now we're going to play another club. All right, we play the club. He's going to trump in. Our partner's going to throw away the low heart and the diamond. And now the declare is going to, in essence, take the rest of the tricks. He has a good king, queen of hearts. Okay, and actually another heart, he can throw away the diamond and diamond to the ace. So he's going to end up taking 9 tricks, but he's already taken 9 tricks. We're going to set him one. Cool. All right, let's go to trick 2, or to hand number 2. All right, here's hand number 2. Let's take a look at it and do an inventory of the bidding. We opened 1 diamond. We got 5, 11. We got 14 high card points. We opened 1 diamond because we got 4 diamonds and 4 clubs. And West then did a takeout double, and our partner then raised our diamonds. So we know that our partner has at least 4 plus diamonds. Okay, probably 5, maybe 5, but at least 4. And then East bid 2 spades. So they probably have in the neighborhood of 7 to 8 points in their hand and 4 or 5 spades, because he's assuming that the takeout doubler has 3 or 4 spades. So they end up in 2 spades. So let's take a look at this in terms of the characteristics of the hand. Okay, we don't want to lead any of these 3 suits because we, in essence, don't want to finesse ourselves. Okay, now we've got 3 diamonds, and we're kind of figuring that they have probably 4 in spades. Maybe they even have 9 of them. We don't know. But what we want to do is cut down on their roughing power. All right. So what we're going to do here is we're actually going to attack them by leading trump, and we're going to lead the 7th trump. Okay, and this is something called trump suit signals, preference signals. In essence, what it is, if you lead low and then high, play high if you want a lower ranking suit return, and vice versa. There'll be a lesson on this in the next segment. So it gets led, and the declare does an inventory and says, well, where do I really want to be? It says, well, I want to be able to get back to my hand later on because these hearts might develop. So he takes the ace, and then he plays the king. And let's just say to preserve transportation a little bit better, he plays 3, comes over to the queen. He says, aha, they split nicely. And then he comes back to the king. And our partner says, okay, I've got to give a signal. Let me give a signal saying, I've got something in diamond. The odd card says, I like this suit. Okay, and the player plays the king, and aha, the last trump comes out. All right, now, the declare says, I'm going to try to develop the heart suit. So he leads towards the honor. Okay, and what he's going to do is actually lead the 10 because he wants to potentially unblock himself. Okay, since we have the king X, and we don't want that king forced, in essence, to be forced out when we don't want to and not have something to lead, we play the king. They play the 3, and our partner plays the 7, indicating that they have an even number. Okay, so now Our partner has indicated they have something in diamonds. We've got the king queen, so we're going to test the water. We're going to play the king. And the 10 comes out, partner plays the 2, saying, hey, that's a nice suit, I like it. We then play the 7, and it comes back over the ace. Notice that we want to preserve the honor in the suit that has 4 versus 3. That way, we don't have to worry about who has the highest card and whether we're going to be able to get in the lead to continue that suit or not. So our partner leads the ace of diamonds and says, okay, I'm going to continue with the diamonds. And he does. Here comes the 9. So we've got that queen 8. So we've got that 9 trap. We play the queen. And lo and behold, he trumps in. Says, okay, now I've got to work on promoting these hearts. Okay, so he says, all right, what can I lead? Well, I can lead the queen. He goes ahead and leads the queen of hearts. Okay, and my partner looks at the hand and so forth and at the dummy, and he's not sure really whether he can if he wants to delay taking ace because he wants to make sure it doesn't get rough. So he was, he just goes ahead and plays the ace. Okay, and I play the 5. Now, the declare then, our partner then says, okay, my partner has indicated he has something, probably has something in clubs. So he leaves the ace at second highest, which part of the convention. And the declare leads to jack, hoping that maybe he can actually steal a trick. And we look at the dummy. Please look at the dummy because there's a lot of information there. We say, okay, let's take that ace of clubs. That's the setting trick, I think. No, it's not the setting trick, but it gets us to book. All right. Now, our actual last act of defiance and hope is we lead the diamond because what we want to do is make the declare use this last rock. Now, if we were really lucky, our partner would still have another trick in another suit, or maybe even 2 tricks. However, in this particular case, we've got the king of clubs left, which is good, and we've got the jack of hearts. Well, let's see what he's got here. He doesn't have the jack 2 good trick, so he can lead. Now the 7 of clubs. He comes over here, and he leads the jack of hearts, and lo and behold, I didn't even see this. Okay, we got him. There's the 8 of hearts. We're going to take this last trick, and we actually set him by 1 trick. Okay, and we did that because we were able to cut down this roughing power from the very beginning. All right, let's go to trick number 3, or the hand number 3. And in this hand, it's a little bit different in terms of the bidding. Our East opened 2 hearts. He made a weak 2. Okay, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Okay, and we've got a really nice hand here. We've got 4, 8, 12, 10, 12. We've got 15 high card points. So we do a takeout double. And West pass, and lo and behold, our partner passes. Okay, I wonder if I turn my okay, I'm not muted, so that's good. I did that once before. Okay, our partner passed, which indicates that they're converting that takeout double into a penalty double. Okay, and so it's our lead. Okay, so at this particular point in time, converting that penalty double and takeout that double is a demand lead of the bid suit. So we lead the 4 of hearts. He plays the 2, and our partner says, well, I've got this Singleton club. I'm going to jump on that. I know where the king is because of his bid. He leads the club. Okay, and the declare's got the king and jack, so he plays low, and we jump in there and take the queen because we can see the 5 clubs in dummy. We go ahead and we lead the ace of clubs, and lo and behold, our partner shows out. He says, "I really don't like the diamonds." Okay, So I'm going to throw away the 6, saying I don't really have anything in diamonds, but that actually shortens his diamond, so he has roughing ability. Okay, and we have undeterred. What we do is we go, okay, we've counted the clubs. We know the declare still has 1. We lead the 6, saying, hey, we like the diamonds the best, because otherwise we would have led the 10 to tell our partner we like the spades the best. Okay, and he plays the 8, and our partner jumps in there and trumps it with the 3 of hearts. Okay, and because he's paying attention, he says, well, I'll return a diamond. Okay, and he comes back and says, okay, I'll play low. I jump in there and take the ace. All right, and because of that, we now know that that's 4, 8 diamonds have been played. Our partner has thrown 1 away. Well, that's 5. That's 5 diamonds have been played. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, and we're saying, okay, our partner gave us that information. Let's go ahead and lead another diamond. We'll see if we can screw up their communication. Okay, so lead another diamond, and our partner throws away a diamond. And now the declare says, well, what should I do? He might actually make the decision at this particular point in time to lead a heart. Okay, and to draw around a trump. He takes that king and he gets the really bad news. I play the 9 of spades saying, hey, partner, I've got something in spades. All right, he says, well, I've got the king of diamonds, I've got the spades. Okay, I've got real problems. So I'm probably going to tell you guys, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to lead a spade. And I'm going to play that. And he goes up with the ace and says, then he says, well, I'm going to try to now see if I can force out the declare is going to try to maximize the number of tricks he can take. So he knows he's got the potential of taking another spade and a good diamond. He says, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to lead the queen of diamonds. Okay. Now, if he leads the queen of diamonds, the real challenge here is for North to throw off a spade. Okay, this queen jack are always going to be good. He throws off the spade. All right. Now we've actually in played the declared, and he says, "Well, I'll lead a spade. I take the king of spades." Okay, and we throw that away. Okay, and I'll go ahead and lead another the good diamond at this particular point in time. Our partner throws away a spade. It gets roughs in, and the declare leads a heart, and our partner ends up taking the last 2 tricks. Okay, so in this particular situation, we end up taking 8 tricks. The declares down 3. We get 500 points because we set them 3. Okay, that was the value of being able to convert that takeout double into a penalty double. All right, let's go to hand number 4. This is a little bit different situation again. In this hand, our partner opens 1 no trump. Okay, you see that up here. Our partner opens 1 no trump, and East doubles. Okay, and in this particular situation, he's using a convention called Lumen, and we come back and we initiate statement by bidding 2 clubs, which says, hey, partner, I've got a 4-card major and at least 8+ high card points. And West obligingly passes, and our partner comes back and says, hey, I've got 4 hearts. Now East jumps in and says, hey, I bids 2 spades, which says he's got spades and a second card, a second minor suit. Okay, and it's the 2 suited hand, and then we jump to 4 hearts because we've got plenty of points. We've got a fit of at least a 4/4 card fit in hearts. we've got some roughing ability. And lo and behold, West jumps into the auction because he's got a singles and a diamond, and he figures that's his partner's long suit, and that way they've got the ability to cross run. That's what their plan of attack is they're going to cross run. Now, at this particular point in time, one of the two of us is going to double. I didn't put it into the auction, but that's what should happen because of the rule of 23. We're either going to bid or double them whenever we have 23 or more points. Okay, so what we've got now is we want to make the opening lead. All right, now, because we know they are sacrificing, they've got a super fit in spades, we want to minimize their roughing ability. So if we look at this hand, again, we don't want to lead away from our honors, but the way that we can do the most damage is to try to minimize their roughing ability. So we lead the 9 of spades. Okay, they play low, and our partner jumps up and takes that ace of spades. See, they've got the ace of spades. It's always going to be good and says, hey, that's a great idea. I know that what they're trying to do too. So he leads the 2 of spades. Okay, and now they take the king. Okay, and we're going to signal that we've got something good in clubs. All right, so we signal that we've got something in clubs. All right, and now they're going to try to develop another trick. And they're looking at this and says, well, we still need to be able to set up this cross ruff, so we're going to lead the ace of diamonds and see if we can get a roughing trick in. And they lead the 5 of diamonds back, and we go ahead and they rough. Okay, and lo and behold, they say, all right, let's see if we can sneak a heart out of there so we can rough in our hand. Our partner is an old pro at all of this, and jumps in there, looks at the dummy and says, there's one more trump left. He wants to trump some more diamonds. So he leads that last spade. Okay. We look at the dummy and we throw away that. And now, lo and behold, the declarer's got real problems. We can trump the hearts. That's always great. We're going to let him go ahead and do that. He trumps that heart with the 10 of spades. Okay, we play off low, and he says, "Well, what do I do now?" He says, "Well, I'm going to lead a club." All right, so he leads a club, and because I was paying attention, my partner had said that he's got something in clubs. What I'm going to do is go ahead. I'm going to lead, play the ace of clubs. Then I'm going to play the queen of clubs. Okay, and he's still following suit. Now I'm going to shift again. I'm going to play the king of hearts. Okay, because I know that he has to rough. Okay, and I kept track of the trump, and he roughs. Okay, and now we have the situation where he has to lead a diamond. We play the jack. Something gets played out of the dummy. Our partner takes it with the king. Then he takes the king of clubs. Then he takes the queen of hearts. And lo and behold, they're down 4 tricks. And like I said, we should have doubled this, and they would be down 800 points. Okay, so now you can see the value of being able to determine when to lead trump. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to the next hand, on hand number 5, and take a look at this particular situation. All right, East is open 1 heart. We did a takeout double, not a really good one, but we did one anyways. And the opponent bid 2 hearts, and it went pass, pass, pass. Because of that auction, we know that the points are fairly evenly split between the two sides. Okay, it's probably going to be somewhere around 20-20. Okay, and because East bid the hearts, he's got 5. West has got 3 or 4. And we've got 3, so we know our partner at most has 2 and maybe only has 1. So what we're going to do, because we don't want to finesse ourselves, and this is really one of the characteristics that exists quite a bit when we lead trump, is we're going to lead a trump. And because we want to encourage our partner to return spade, which is our better suit, we leave the 8. And now again, the declarer goes, well, I'll just go ahead and play low. And he might actually, because he's concerned about how they're going to break, play the 9. Here comes the 10. He takes the ace, says, well, I don't have too much of a problem now. That's 4, 8, 9, 10. Now, as long as they split 2, 1, the remaining ones, we don't have a problem. So he says, where do I want to be after I lead out all the trump? He says, I don't really want to be anywhere because I got a pretty crappy hand. But the only place that he has potential to be developing a trick is in diamonds. So what he's going to do is his plan is to end up in the dummy after he leads out all the trumps. So he leads the hearts again, and lo and behold, they split nicely, and he leads a low heart to the queen. Okay, what this allows, and our partner, who's got the now has to tell us what suit he would like. And he looks at the dummy. Again, we're looking at the dummy. He says, where does he have values behind the dummy? Well, actually, he has the queen, spades over the 10, the king 10 over the 7, 6. So, and the queen jack is under the ace. So he says, okay, I'll tell my partner that my strongest suit is diamonds. And what he's going to do in order to indicate that, he's going to give us a suit preference signal by playing the 10 of clubs. And someday I'll tell you all about those. Okay, so I know now that he has something in diamonds. Okay, and the declarer is taking that trick and he says, okay, let me go ahead and I'm going to see if I'm going to develop the diamond trick. And our partner plays low, comes over here and plays the queen. I take the ace. Okay, now the real question is, what do I do now? Well, I'm going to leave the 6 of spades because that's, well, actually, one of the things I'm going to do, I'm going to back up. I'm going to leave the 5 of clubs. The reason I leave the 5 of clubs, now the declarer's got to guess is where does my partner have the king? Or do I have the king? And let's say he guesses wrong, and my partner jumps up with the queen. All right, now he returns another club. I play the jack and force out the ace. Okay, by underleading my king, it sets up the capability where I can lead a club and he has to rough it again. All right, so he's got that. Says, well, let's go ahead and see if we can take another diamond because he's leading diamonds. My partner goes, well, that means that he's trying to develop the suit. He could see 4 to begin with, so he figures that the declarer has 3. And he says, well, what are they? He says, well, there's the 7, 6. He knows the 9, 8 is still outstanding. So he goes ahead and he takes that diamond trick. Okay. And even if the declarer is smart enough to throw off the jack, it doesn't do him any good. So he plays low, we play this. And now our partner plays the jack and king and jack, 10 of diamonds, the 4th of jack, and the 9 comes out. And lo and behold, that dummy is dead. Even though he developed that 13th diamond, there's no way he's ever going to be able to get it. Okay, so he's got 2 trumps left and he's got 3 spades. And he says, well, okay, I've got 3 more tricks. That's going to give me the 7 tricks. I'm going to be down 1. So he says, well, maybe accidentally something good will happen to spades. He leads the spade. And let's say that he tries to be really sneaky. He leads a low spade. I play low because there's a lot missing there. So our partner jumps up, takes that, and leads another the high club. Okay, and he jumps in, and now what he's going to do is just simply play the ace of spades and hope against hope that all the honors fall, which is not possible. he's going to lose another spade. I can look at the board and say, there's the 10. I'm going to play the jack. Okay. And then I'm going to play the king. And just I kept count of the trump, I'm going to find that he's trumps that last trick. And lo and behold, he does make the 2-heart bid. However, remember, we're playing duplicate. So if we didn't make the leads that we made in the trump suit, okay, he would have actually made more tricks. And by keeping the number of tricks that they take to the minimum possible for them, we're going to be able to share in the top board for that particular hand. Let's look at the hand number 6. Okay, so we're looking at hand number 6, and what we've got in here, all right, in this one, let's look at the bidding. South, that's us. We opened 1 club here. Actually, we should open 1 no trump, but we opened 1 club. For whatever reason, I don't know. We missed one of the honors and we miscounted. So we opened 1 club. And it went past, and our partner said 1 diamond. And then we said 1 no. Okay, which indicates 12 to 14, but we actually have 15. Okay, so we're not doing real hot today. We're screwing things up in terms of our bidding. Okay, but it's 1 no, and it goes past, and then east, based upon the bidding, says, hey, we probably have about 20 points, and they probably have 20 points. They've ignored the spades, and I've got 4 of them. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and make a balancing bid and bid 2 spades. All right, so he bids of 2 spades and we all pass. All right, now when we look at our hand, we've got good values in all of the suits. And we know when they make a balancing bid that the trump are probably going to be split 4-4 or 4-3. Okay, and if we've got 3 trump, we want to lead trumps to cut down on their trumping ability. You say, well, I don't want to lead away from my king. That might take a trick. Well, let's assume that the ace of spades is over here in east hand. So it would be guarded. So what we're going to do is going to go ahead and lead spades at least once. And what we want is we want a heart return. So we're going to lead the 6. So we lead the 6 of spades. Let's take a look and see what all the hands look like. Okay, so we lead the 6 of spades. Okay, and the declarer is looking at his hand. He says, well, you know, if North has got the king of spades, well, what we're going to do is see if we can suck it out of him by playing the queen. And lo and behold, he doesn't play it. Okay, now the question is, who's got the king of spades? Okay, because of this particular lead, under leading the king, the declarer may assume that North has it and says, okay, I've got the jack 10, and behind that I have the ace 9. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lead that jack of spades. Our partner plays low, and he says, crap, all of those spades are in the North's hand, and I'm going to take the finesse of the jack of spades so I can try to pick up that king on the next trick. And lo and behold, I jump in there and take that king of spades because I underlet it. Okay, now we've sucked 8 of the trump away already. Okay, and because I've got a 3rd one and I know they're planning on making some type of a cross-rubbing, trying to use their trump and cross-rubbing, I lead spades again. Okay, now you can see that in effect, the declarer is playing no trump and not playing spades anymore. Of course, he's got 1 more spade left he can rough with it, but he's only going to get 1 more trick in spades. And now he has to decide which suit to attack. Okay, he doesn't have a real good heart suit because his values don't match up very well. He's got the ace, queen, 3 of clubs. He doesn't want to leave that. He wants to leave clubs from the dummy back to his hand so he can hopefully take the club finesse, and his diamonds don't fit very well. So he decides, I'm going to finesse south, that's us, for the ace of hearts. So he leads the low heart, and we oblige. We play low, and he jumps up with that king of hearts, and he takes the trick. He says, okay, yes, that worked. Now let's see if we can get a club finesse to work. So he leads the six of clubs and comes around, and he plays the queen. He says, hope, hope, I hope that North has got the king of clubs. And guess what? He doesn't have the king of clubs. All right, so now we know that the hearts are dead meat on a hook. And what we can do is we can sit here and just lead the hearts because we've got all the good hearts. Our partner unblocks because he knows we're doing that. And then we lead the queen. Okay, now what we're doing is we're forcing the declarer to make the decision. Are you going to ruff now or are you going to ruff later? Okay, he really doesn't have a whole heck of a lot of choices. So he roughs now. He takes the trick. Okay, and now all the trumps are gone because we led them to begin with. Okay, and the declarer is in a world of hurt. So he says, well, maybe accidentally I can get the jack of clubs to drop and I can get to those clubs with my three. So he leaves the ace, the five gets played, and seven, and he goes, oh crap, the jack didn't fall. What am I supposed to do now? So he leads the three of clubs. All right, and I jump up with that jack, can't get to the board. Okay, and now I'm going to lead that 10 of hearts. And the 10 of hearts comes around. He says, I don't have any more trump because those evil people kept leading them. Okay, if they always look very, very hard leading trump when somebody balances on. And he goes, okay, when my partner's got the ace, so we come over here, we take the ace. And now my partner says, okay, let's go ahead and lead the jack. He plays the queen and he says, oh crap, I'm dead meat. And now we take the last trick. Okay, and guess what? We took 8 tricks. We actually made 2 spades. He's down 3. We get a top board. And that's the value of leading trump against a balancing bid, a balancing suit. Always look at that option. Well, that concludes today's lesson. I'm going to come back over here and thank everybody for attending. And what we're going to do is stop share and we're going to end the lesson. Have a great day.